What's up, everybody? My name is Jason, and welcome to Breaking News. Millions funded as Congress throws the SBA a smokescreen. TGIS, it's July the 16th, 2021. Please do me a huge favor. Give this video a thumbs up, hashtag EIDL with your comments below, and don't forget, make sure you follow me on Twitter at TrySmallBiz. That's at TrySmallBiz, where I'm duking it out right now with James Clyburn and Nydia Velasquez. More on that in a second, ladies and gentlemen, but I want to start off this video talking about 55 subscribers on this channel that got funded $9.3 million over the last 2 months. What in the world is this unverifiable information, and how can you get past that so that you can get your money? And last but not least, what is James Clyburn and Nydia Velasquez, who is the chairwoman of the House Committee for Small Business, up to when they're throwing Matt Gaetz and the prior administration under the bus just to cover for the SBA's extreme level of incompetence? So pull up a chair, ladies and gentlemen. Grab yourself a cup of coffee, ice cold beer, glass of wine, whiskey on a big rock, bottle of fucking champagne. Here we go. All right, I need everybody to participate. Even if you got to give me 2 comments. In the comments below, where do you stand with the $10,000 targeted EIDL advance and the $5,000 supplemental? Just to review, you got to be in a low-income community for both. For the 10 Gs, you got to have a 30% or greater economic loss from 2020 versus 2019 for 2 straight months. And with respect to the $5,000 supplemental, you got to be cut in half, and you got to have fewer than 10 employees. So did you apply? Where did you stand? Did you get the money? If so, are you excited? Is it helping you? Do you have problems that I might be able to help you solve? Let me know in the comments below. As I just said, I went into my email last night and I found 55 people going back about 2 months that have sent me screenshots of how much they got approved and funded for. And it came out to $9.35 million to be exact. The average size loan was $170,000. The smallest was $14,000 and the highest was $388,000. So ladies and gentlemen, once again, the average loan size of 55 people on this channel that got $9.35 million was $170,000. So if you're one of those 55 people, and I spoke to some of you today, right, Josh? If you've been one of those people that have gotten your money in the last 6, 7, or 8 weeks, please step into the comments below. Provide some inspiration for folks that are struggling to try to find an answer. For example, what is this unverifiable information? Let me remind everybody, I got declined not once, but twice in the last 3 months for unverifiable information. After digging, and what you can do is call 800-659-2955, ask for a Tier 2 supervisor. And you say, hey, look, I just got what looks like an automated email from the SBA saying that I was declined for the targeted EIDL, the supplemental, or in many cases, the 24 months of working capital for unverifiable information. In my case, the number I put on my application for my 2019 gross revenue was 27% different than what my 4506T said. So I'm unverifiable. You got to be within a 25% variance. So if I put 100,000 on the application and I came in at less than 75, it's an automatic decline. There's one example of unverifiable. I've also seen if you don't have the exact match on your banking account information or the exact match with the spelling, including commas and dots and apostrophes, with respect to your business, even if it is a side hustle, it's going to be unverifiable information. But one of many fiascos at the SBA, just like what we covered yesterday, they never tell you what it is, including what I'm about to cover now with respect to them claiming, the GAO actually 9 months ago, that $62 billion of EIDL loan money is potentially fraudulent. But if you read the report or the letter from James Clyburn and Nydia Velasquez, who I tag on every single Twitter post, she's the chairwoman of the House Committee for Small Business, they don't tell you where the fraud is. Was anybody fired? No. Was anybody arrested? No. So until I see the facts on potentially 700,000 loans that threw off a red flag for what? Just like with respect to the unverifiable information, the SBA won't fucking tell you who's in trouble, who's making mistakes, who's going to jail, what is unverifiable. They don't tell you. So you got to get on the phone and you got to call those Tier 2 supervisors. You also, and I can't stress this enough, a lot of you have written with tremendous amounts of success, including two of my worthless senators here in Georgia, Ossoff and Warnock, who have said nothing with respect to the EIDL program on Twitter. But one of them, I'm not going to mention which one, I'll leave it up to you to guess who it is, actually had success with two or three of my friends that live down towards a place called Midtown in Buckhead, in and around the Atlanta suburbs. So look, there are people that are getting money. As of this video, the new report, which is supposed to be out today, is not out. I'm expecting a huge jump from around $51,000 in terms of the loan with respect to 24 months of capital, and the grant was $271,000. They've been going a hell of a lot faster on the grants in the last 2 weeks, and that's tremendous. There's a new department that took over for the Office of Disaster Assistance. So, and then we hear that the backlog is either gone or almost gone with respect to 4506T. So that's tremendous news. But we need to see the loans, the EIDL increases dramatically increase. So again, one more time, please, where do you stand with respect to the grants, the 10 and the 5? Did you go after the 24 months of capital? Where do you stand? What problems do you have? And again, the biggest obstacle that I have seen and heard is unverifiable. So you got to get your senators to send that privacy release form. You got to call the tier 2 supervisors. In the subject line, when you write the senators, if it has to do with 24 months of working capital, privacy release form in the subject line. Hi, Senator so-and-so, I'm in district such and such, and I voted for you last year. I'm having an awful time trying to get 24 months of working capital with respect to my business. Please send me a privacy release form so you can reach out to the SBA on my behalf. They just sent me a copy and paste email that I'm unverifiable information, but they don't tell me what it is. I need an answer and soon, or I'm going to be out of business. And if that happens, I may not be able to cast my vote for you in 2022. So if you got the canned unverifiable information, send another letter or your first letter to your senators, congressmen, and women around the privacy release form so that they can reach out. They have a direct line in many cases, and some of them are very, very effective. They can say, hey, I have a constituent app number such and such and such and such, and they got an unverifiable information email from you on Tuesday of last week. I need to know, as Senator of Texas, John Cornyn, Ted Cruz, what the unverifiable information is. And in many cases, they will email them back, but it's like anything else with the SBA. You need a shitload of patience, and you got to be persistent as hell. I would call at least twice a week. I would reach out to my senators, congressmen, and women at least 2 or 3 times a week until they respond. And most of them will get back to you right away. So look, ladies and gentlemen, I want to close out with a smokescreen from Congress with respect to the SBA. And I'll pin this in the top. James Clyburn and Nydia Velasquez touched off a letter to Miss Isabel Guzman. But let me remind everybody, James Clyburn, hardcore Democrat. Nydia Velasquez, hardcore Democrat. Isabel Guzman, hardcore Democrat from California, and she was appointed by another hardcore Democrat you might be familiar with, President Joseph Biden. So look, are they throwing her to the wolves? Not at all. In fact, if you read the damn letter, they're throwing Matt Gaetz, Republican congressman in Florida, who may or may not have had sex with minors. I really don't care if that is or isn't true. It's none of my business. I'm trying to help to get you guys the money you were deserved with respect to the CARES Act on the grant and the 24 months of working capital in 2021. So all it is, if you read it, 8 pages, they throw Gaetz and his former associate under the bus. And then they blame the prior administration for upwards of $62 billion, or about 30% of the total $215 billion of EIDL loan money, on Carranza and Trump. So in other words, it's not Isabel Guzman's fault, it's the prior administration. Do you see what's going on here, ladies and gentlemen? The SBA has been slower than fucking tar and molasses. They have been taking major amounts of heat. They've lost 4 or 5 or 6 at this point lawsuits with respect to discrimination. So what can we do as Democrat leader and sub-chair committee member Clyburn? Oh, I got it. We can throw Matt Gaetz, his associate, Trump, and Mnuchin overboard and blame virtually all of the potential fraud, $62 billion of $215 billion, almost 30%, on the prior administration. So this is nothing more than a, hey, you investigative reporters, you small biz owners that are threatening to sue, settle down. The reason why the SBA is going slow as fuck, and they've only paid out 3%, as I said on Twitter, 2 million applied for the targeted EIDL advance, 271,000 out of 10 million emails have been funded. Over 1 million applied for the 24 months of working capital, the EIDL loan increase. And as of last week, 51,000 have been funded in 5 months. So if you do the math, third grade math, in my opinion, whether it's the $10,000 targeted EIDL advance and or the supplemental for $5,000 or the 24 months of capital, a grand total of 3% of every small business owner watching me now and millions more around this country have gotten money from the SBA in 2021. So this letter, this investigation, this old story from the Government Accountability Office is nothing more than cover for the SBA, because if they do start to get sued and sued big time in the next 60 to 90 days for not only discriminated against race, but where you happen to live or what side of the street you're on, they're going to have a defense. I guarantee Nydia Velasquez, who's the chairman of the House Committee, and James Clyburn and Miss Isabel Guzman and their lawyers are going to say, well, hold on a second. You see this? You see this government accountability report here from last year? Well, there was $62 billion of fraud. Okay, well, where's the fraud? Was anybody fired? Was anybody arrested? Well, what exactly was the fraudulent flags that went off for $700,000, 700,000 loans? We don't know the answer to that, but it's potentially there. I often wonder, do you ever wonder why I'm still here? Do you guys know that nobody's ever paid me a dime? So when you see these fake accounts about WhatsApp me or Facebook me, that's not me. Those are people that are scraping my name and my photo. I have literally been here, ladies and gentlemen, every day, all day, in some cases till 3 o'clock in the morning, fighting on your behalf for not charging a fucking dime. And that's the way I intend it to be. I have helped raise tens of millions of dollars, and I'm duking it out with these motherfuckers on an hourly basis, and I ain't going anywhere until it's 10 grand, regardless of size, location, or credit score, with respect to the grant, $2 million caps, and sometime damn soon, 24 months of working capital. Pay no attention to the bullshit report that they're releasing 9 months late. And yes, Big Ben fucking Cardin, who has been a colossal failure as Senate chairman of the Small Business Committee, and I are going to work hand in glove whether he likes it or not. And the more cars that pile up, the more case we're going to have, so that you never pay the SBA a fucking dime with respect to the EIDL loan. So until next time, ladies and gentlemen, always remember on this Friday afternoon that I love each and every single one of you. And thank you so much for watching.